everyone, welcome back to StoryHive On Location in Edmonton. Here we are about to head into the new grocery movement.
And this is all brought to you by StoryHive, which is funded through TELUS, so thank you.
So let's go check out their community cooks.
Welcome to Community Cooks. We're very excited to have you here, and today we are at the beautiful Centre for Canada-Palestine Cultural Association. We're really happy that they're hosting us in their space. So we're going to do a few minutes here just introing ourselves, introducing the program, telling you a little bit about why we are here in the first place, and then once we get through that, we'll do a little bit of explaining about how the class is going to work tonight. I see lots of familiar faces, so probably there's a few of you that already are kind of attuned to how these classes run, but we'll just walk through everything. So we're going to introduce Community Cooks, and I'll tell you a little bit about the program. Maya here is Touch Grass Club, and she'll tell you as well, because we have collaborated to create this program. We also have a third partner for bee harm reduction, who Maya will explain. And you'll see Aziza up here as well, who's from CPCA. So we'll give her a chance to introduce herself as well. First of all, about New Grocery Movement, though, we are a nonprofit and we are actually national in scope, but a lot of our programming lives here in Edmonton so far, because that's where a ton of our team members are. So we are very happy to bring you this program. I think, as Marlon had said, there's a ton of people right now that are really struggling in the grocery stores with the high food prices, but it's not only a food affordability issue. There are so many barriers right now in our food system to getting the food that we feel good about supporting or eating. And I really think that the experience that most people are having in a grocery store is one of disconnection from their food, is one of stress. You know, you're surrounded by endless packaging and food waste, industrially grown food, imported food, highly processed food, and all of this can feel really heavy when you are trying to eat intentionally or support your local growers, or even just try and find food that is, you know, more sustainable or that fits your needs, your culture. So I think in today's age, all of these issues, right, they kind of culminate in what we think of as these big commercial grocery stores, and they create an experience of stress where food at its core should actually be an experience of joy. It's so connected to our language, to our culture, to place, to who we are, and that gets totally segregated in a grocery store. And we wanted to create a program where you are having a good interaction with food, where you're having a good experience, and where we can inject some of those really important features of food back into your connection with it. So instead of feeling like you have no idea where this product is coming from, we make effort here to try and share where the origins of an ingredient are from, how it connects to a culture, what the stories are behind that, how is that important to your family, to the context of what's going on today. And that's kind of the brilliant part of this. We're not only bringing you together to cook in community and feel connected to each other, to build your food skills and cooking skills so that you can go out and navigate a kitchen a little more confidently, especially with a dish that you maybe have never seen or cooked before. But the main thing we want is to rebuild that connection to the food itself, to get you questioning a little bit about where your food comes from, and so that the next time you do have to go into that commercial grocery store, you at least have a better experience to harken back to. And yeah, this is also a really affordable class, we hope, for most of you. We try and keep the ticket prices quite low to incentivize you to show up when you registered, but to not dissuade you from being here, because we recognize that that is truly the biggest barrier for people today. So our mission at New Grocery Movement is to create those experiences, to shift power in the grocery sector back to the local level, and this is just one of the visions for that. I will probably plug a few other NGM programs, because we've just launched and had our couple other programs start very recently, but I will save that for a little later. And for now, hand over to Maya so she can introduce Touch Grass Club.
Hello. I hope that you guys are all doing great today. My name is Maya. I founded Touch Grass Club in 2024, just kind of out of this area of like angst understanding that there were so many issues happening in our ecosystem, and nobody knows. Nobody understands what they're looking at when you go into the forest. Nobody understands what food is available for you outdoors, not from a grocery store. I grew up with the experience of being able to collect Saskatoon berries and gooseberries and all these different kinds of native foods behind my house in a forest that grew. And this is not the average Canadian experience. And I think that is a travesty. Last year in the River Valley, I saw Saskatoon bushes that were breaking under the immense weight of all the berries they were carrying. And this could be an easily avoided issue if everybody knew what we have available for us to eat and enjoy, and how we can also have an active role in our ecosystem. Our slogan for Touch Grass Club is connecting urban dwellers with nature, and we host a lot of different events that try to get people to kind of understand the sciences behind our ecosystem from a little bit more of a casual perspective, something that doesn't feel like you're being lectured at, and something where you get to learn hands-on. One thing I do really want to highlight is that for us to protect food sovereignty, we need to protect our soil. We need to ensure the quality of our soil, our water, and our air is all protected, because this will directly impact our own health. So again, thank you guys all so much for coming. And I'm really excited for us to learn these dishes together today and learn so much from Aziza.
Hi, how are you? My name is Aziza. I'm a Palestinian Canadian chef. I graduated from Nova Scotia Community College in 2019 in culinary art. So now I'm working in preserve my traditional kitchen, so especially for the new generation. And we had some activity here in CBCA because they have the Beit Sufrat City. Yeah, Sufrat City in English means the dining table of our grandma. So the dining table of our grandma for all of us, I think so, in Palestine, is the first place we experiment the traditional food. So here in CBCA, we take care of that for the new generation with the most senior ladies. They give us all this recipe, valuable recipe. So now I'm a chef. I plan to open my coffee shop also. So it's soon. And today we will prepare some traditional plates from Palestine, especially from city called Hebron. It's this dish is called khidra. Khidra means rice and any kind of meat like lamb, chicken. So we cook it with special spices and ghee, a very strong ghee. So today we will try to make salad also, and fruit salad and green salad. I'm so happy to be with you, especially for this cause, to help people who in need for food, especially for those days. It's very hard and very expensive. So yeah, we will enjoy it together.
So I think that's kind of it for our introductions. We're going to walk you quickly through how the flow of the class will go. So we will start out by getting everyone to wash their hands and go grab an apron if you haven't already. Then we'll call you back here. And once we're done that, we're actually going to meet at this table behind me. And that's where Aziza is going to be doing some demonstrations of a first few couple dishes. We'll get those demos out so that you guys can see them, and then you'll be released to the tables here. You don't have to move yet, just give me one more second. We'll release you to the tables here to do some cutting for the salads, and while you're doing cutting, we'll probably rotate a few people in at a time to the kitchen to be working directly with Aziza, just so you can see the process of the rice and the chicken and the soup dishes as well.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rebecca McLeod, and I am the founder and executive director of New Grocery Movement. I love everything to do with food and farming. I could talk about it forever. I'm very passionate about it, and specifically food justice. I think that has become my life's work in many ways, and it comes from my personal love for all things food. I love gardening and growing it. I love cooking it, baking it, sharing it. And I think that it's a really important facet of our society that connects to so many parts of our lives, whether that's environment or our social or political circumstances, and even just who we are personally, you know, where we're from, the place we grew up, the environment, and yeah, I'm really excited to chat more about food and how we came to be.
You mentioned new grocery movement. You did a really beautiful job, I think, of explaining it kind of earlier on, but are you able to just share a bit more about what it is for folks who may not know?
Yes. So I started New Grocery Movement at the end of 2020, and it was because I was feeling very frustrated with my own personal grocery experience. I felt like every time I stepped into a grocery store, for some reason, that triggered my eco-anxiety a lot. And I came to realize it's because I had such a deep love of food, and I knew that I wanted to kind of work in that space. And because I love cooking and baking, it had always been a place where I felt really excited. You know, I can go find all the ingredients that I'm going to make, and it was almost a place of inspiration. And the more I started to learn about our food system and how many problems there were, I think my view of the grocery store as a place of kind of like joy or inspiration started to become really overwhelming. And instead of seeing like all the abundance, it became me seeing all the problems of, you know, packaging waste, food waste, highly processed food, industrially grown food, a lot of imported food. You see little to no local food represented on grocery shelves. And it can be next to impossible for people to figure out the origins or the journey of their food in a grocery store. And you know, I found myself standing in a grocery aisle reading the back of a box for, 15 minutes. And I'm somebody that has a ton of knowledge about our food system, that works in the space and is very passionate about it. So it really made me think how many more people are struggling with this that maybe don't have the time or any energy or interest to spend, siphoning through all of the different products in a grocery store to find what they feel good about supporting or buying or eating. And I think there's so many beautiful ways to share food in this world, and we have the opportunity to lift those up. The grocery stores, unfortunately, maybe at the beginning, they really became a place to consolidate and make it easier and more convenient for people to have a one-stop shop. And in their modern day kind of iterations, they've really lost that connection to community or the origin of our food. And I think that is a huge loss. We have so much culture tied up in our food. It is representative of our place and our environment. Who we are really is tied up in our food. And we lose that when we just go to a grocery store and we pick up a product wrapped in plastic. So I wanted to change that narrative. And at the beginning, I actually just started asking for the manager. Every time I went grocery shopping, I would be like, I want more bulk food, or I want more, local food. And they did not care at all. So very quickly, I thought, I need some more voices saying this alongside me. I need people that feel the same way I do, because I know they're out there. Standing with me and talking about how we can change this. And that's really what New Grocery Movement was born from. And I think now, even more than when we started 5-6 years ago, that problem has only increased. I think you'd be hard pressed to find somebody that isn't affected by grocery prices or that has someone in their family that is struggling with food insecurity. Food insecurity in general is skyrocketing right now. It's the highest it's ever been in history in Canada. And at the same time, we're wasting 46%. That's almost half of the food we produce is being wasted. There's a huge mismatch right now in our distribution, in the processes. And people will argue, oh, well, this is more convenient and more efficient to have our modern food system with these grocery stores as the central distributors. And I would say, more efficient for who? For the landfills who are accepting all of this? I think it's quite sad. And I don't want to totally demonize the grocery stores. It is amazing that we can walk into these locations that are peppered across our big cities and have access to so much food. But I question who has access. Even if you can walk through those doors, there are still so many barriers once you're in the store, even to get into the store itself. And that, again, is only access to these commercially grown foods, oftentimes farmers markets or smaller stores, cultural grocery stores, local grocers, they are places that many don't have access to at all. And those are the foods that we often want to lift up and we want to have bigger access to. And so, yeah, this is a disservice. And we see so much consolidation of power and resources in the hands of these big grocers who do not have an interest in feeding people. They are there to make a profit. So New Grocery Movement is really a stand against that and to try and reconnect people and increase their access to the beautiful food that already exists around them.
And where do you hope to see New Grocery Movement in, say, 5 years?
Yeah, I mean, my first answer would be I hope we're obsolete. I think it's my number one mission that we do such a good job that New Grocery Movement isn't even needed anymore. I feel strongly about that. We are an organization that is just the vehicle for the work, for the mission, not for the sake of being a nonprofit itself. So if I could have my most ideal, it would be that we did such a good job and restructured and disrupted this grocery sector to such a degree that we didn't even need to exist anymore. People were so connected. We had local food systems that were resilient, that were creating full short supply chains in communities that people had access to. And I think that's kind of this dual purpose. We often really focus on sustainability right now of like, can we make because our food system does contribute a lot to environmental damage and climate change. So there's a huge push for sustainability, which is absolutely needed. But there's this whole other side of it, of access and the social barriers that people face in getting food that are very often overlooked. And I think that is becoming more central as we see, the close ties to food affordability in the economy. So I want those conversations to be had in dual, and that we, have a food system that is sustainable, local, and accessible, and that people feel like really proud of, that they want to be part of, instead of it being a bad experience to go to the grocery store or to go get your food. I want people to find joy in that.
How can individuals get involved with New Grocery Movement?
I love this question. I hope everyone gets involved. The name New Grocery Movement was very intentional because we want to build a movement. We are a grassroots movement for food sovereignty, and we are doing that work by reimagining groceries. So I invite everyone to join us in whatever capacity you have, or in whatever way that looks like for you, whether that's just following us on our social media, liking and sharing our posts, or if you wanted to get fully involved in the team. Because we're volunteer run, we are always accepting people, and we have so many different ways from, if you're a tech person, helping us trying to set up our systems on kind of the back end, or if you're really excited to be in the kitchen with people or in the garden. We have so many in-person events that we need help with. I think it's really important to make people feel included in this, that they are seeing themselves in this, because really it's about the fact that people can't afford or find food to eat anymore. And so I want this to be New Grocery Movement to be an outlet where people feel like they relate, they see themselves in it, and that they actually have agency to take action, even if that's something small, even if it's just coming to one cooking class a month, and that's, all you can do or put energy towards. I think that, could be the spark that gets you to think more critically next time you're at the grocery store, and that's a win. So whatever it is, whether you're just engaging with our content or you want to volunteer, there's so many ways to get involved. We also have tons of community events and workshops. Most often they are free or very, very low cost. So we are always welcoming as many people to join us to learn as well.
Great. And then last question, it doesn't have to be specific to any of the things we've spoken about, but what would you say is the best piece of advice you've received throughout your life?
Yes, one of my favorite pieces of advice is, if you don't ask, you don't get. I have made so many connections. I've moved mountains. I've done things that I thought were probably impossible by simply asking the question, if I can. And I think people forget that you can literally do anything in this world. You can do anything you want in this world. And sometimes it's just like the bravery and courage of asking the hard question or the scary question. And I think you would be surprised how often people are receptive to that. People love feeling needed and included and like they can contribute and are valuable, and bringing people in to your challenges or your ideas or your excitement is going to serve you. And I think that they're way more open to it than we think. We're such an isolated society right now. And yeah, I don't want to get too meta about it, but like asking questions, that's like one way to say, hey, I value what your answer would be. I value your opinion. And it's got me many places, you know? It's good to ask and just to be sure, don't turn yourself down before someone else has.
I think that's really great advice. Thank you so much.
Yay, thank you.
So my name is Maya Mudric. I am a concerned and passionate individual. I am in love with the sky, and I think in order for us to save the sky, we also need to save the ground. So it's a little bit about me.
How did you get involved with New Grocery Movement?
So in 2024, I founded a nature club called Touch Grass Club. It was very grassroots. It literally started from a group chat and then went from there, where I just started hosting events and posting it on Instagram, getting people to show up. I had an idea for a while of a program that included cooking and just learning. And from there, it developed into specifically a cultural learning experience. With Touch Grass Club, with my educational background, I did hard sciences, but I also took things like anthropology and archaeology, and I really got an appreciation for how culture is completely influenced by the environment that you are around, and that includes the food you eat and the type of relationships you have with it. And I want people to have kind of like a healthy and normal relationship with food. It can be really difficult in our society today because of body standards, notions about what's healthy, what's unhealthy food. And I think that we need to know how to like feed ourselves something nutritious, something easy to make, and something that respects and honors other people's cultures, because they have some good ideas. And I mean, a lot of these cultures, their dishes are created from spaces of either mass migration or poverty. And so these are accessible meals that I think every Canadian can really learn from and be able to implement into their own life. So I'll kind of go into the next question here, which was the inspiration for the initiative. There's this one idea I heard about for a while called like money pools, where like a group of friends would come together and they would like maybe put $25 all together into a little pool of money. And every month they'd give each individual member of that group the money, and it would be just like a mutual aid act. And so my thought was, how can we do that with like a cooking class? So we started ticketing the cooking classes, and that money would help pay off the food. And we also applied for some other grants to be able to support that. And from there, we were able to kind of develop the program off of that kind of idea of mutual aid through pooling together resources.
Where can people find additional information about the community cook?
So New Grocery Movement's website is kind of the source of truth for the community cooks. Our Eventbrite is where you can purchase tickets. So if you follow New Grocery Movement's Eventbrite, you'll always be notified about this program. All of the actual like background information is all on the website though. And then of course our Instagram too, where you can actually see the action taking off. You can see the courses happening. And kind of get a feel of what's going on through what we're posting on social media.
Do you have a favorite memory from one of your past community cooks?
Yes. So there's this one reoccurring member called Heather Bessie. You can redact the name if you need to. We have this longstanding volunteer who joins all of them. They're actually here at this class right now. And last week, she told me about how she started a little, almost like sharing group of soup stock, because we were talking about what you can do with excess garden greens or like excess, you chop up an onion. What do you do with the skins? What do you do with all the other pieces? The carrots, you chop off the head. What do you do with all that roughage, I guess. And so, the easy answer is like the compost if you have one, but another answer that requires a little bit more labor is soup stock. When you boil down all those components, you can make really, really good, nutritious vegetable soup stock. And so she took that idea that I gave her and she started just making a bunch of her own soup stock and sharing it with her neighbors and her friends. And she told me about that the last cooking class. And I thought that was really sweet because it just shows what people can do from these classes, and just the fact that just that knowledge sharing component is helping people kind of shape their own cultures and relationships amongst themselves. Another thing too is like with the classes we had when we hosted Cooking for Community, there was a lot of people who said that they're still doing the Palestinian dishes, the mujadara that we cooked last year. They're still cooking it today because it's affordable and accessible, quick meal to be able to enjoy.
Where do you hope to see Community Cooks in the next 5 years?
I hope that Community Cooks can expand to more cities, and possibly even other types of nonprofits and community groups can also take this program on and implement it in some fashion into their own organizations. This isn't something where I'm like, this is strictly my brainchild, and I don't think that way at all. And, talking with other people in the community, they have their own kind of iterations of this specific program, but it's more devoted to very specific community members who all know each other and they get to work, This is the only one that's kind of just like open for anybody to come.
And then last question, it doesn't have to be specific to any of the things we've spoken about, but what would you say is the best piece of advice you've received throughout your life?
This one, I don't even know where I heard this from, but it is the thing that has kept me going is even if you don't feel ready, do it anyways. Even if you don't feel that the quality is where you want it to be, do it anyways. You'll figure things out on the way. A lot of people are too scared to take the first step in, trying to make their ideas come to reality and trying to find those kind of support networks. But you know what? I've been met with more yeses than I have no's in all of the pursuits that I've tried, just because I shared an idea and said, what do you think? Do you want to work with me? And I think that there's a lot of people who have so many amazing ideas, who have so many skills to bring to the table, to bring forward to society. And we're all just worried about what other people think about us. At the end of the day, I don't think many of these people are going to think about me too deeply after this is all over, but they will remember the class, and they'll remember the fact that they shared this with other people today, and that they hopefully got to learn something and take something new home with them. So whatever idea you have, just go for it. Don't worry if it's perfect, because if it's perfect, it's already too late.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
My name is Aziza. I am a Palestinian Canadian chef. I'm mom to 3 boys. And I graduated from NSCC in Culinary Art School, diploma for 2 years. And I start work sometime in restaurant, but I feel it's too hard for mom to be working in restaurant outside, cook all the time, then coming back very tired, exhausted. So I decided to make my own idea or my own activity. So I start activity for preserve our cuisine, Palestinian cuisine. I start to gather women and new generation and ladies and teach them about the very, very traditional and old recipe in Palestine. So we start that, and it's growing, and I invite people to cook his also traditional food. And it was very, very nice experience.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's so exciting.
Thank you.
What got you into cooking? Why do you enjoy cooking so much?
To be honest, when I was young, I hate something it's called cooking.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't cook. Yeah. And my mom told me, just come and cook. In the future, you have kids and you have to prepare yourself. I said, no, I will keep my husband cook and like this, the teenage. Then we decided, me and my husband, to move to Qatar. And we moved to Qatar and with my son. And in this time, I don't have friends. My husband all the time the work. I'm just staying home. So I start cook. Then I feel the cooking is something is very, very interested and very nice. And I start thinking, it's bigger that. So I want to be a chef, not just a cooker, Because my background is industrial chemistry. I have a baccalaureate in industrial chemistry. So I feel it's very close. kitchen is chemistry, all about chemistry, you know,
yes,
it's a
that's
lot,
fair.
yeah. So sometimes when I feel regret, I study 4 years and then come back just to cook, and then I feel no, it's chemistry. I'm working in it. So that's what give me how to love the cooking. Yeah, yeah.
And how did you get involved with the Community Cooks program for New Grocery Movement?
So I had some activity with the CBCA here, maybe 2 or 3. Then they invite me because they work me. They invite me to host this event and say, yeah, it's very nice cause and very nice reason to cook for people who need food and to teach the people about our culture. And so I accept the invitation. So yeah.
What is the recipe that you were teaching them, or recipes you taught today?
Today we will, because they ask us to make something Palestinian. So we make a dish from a city in Palestine called Hebron, Al-Khalil. So this dish is called Al-Qidra. Qidra, it's ingredient, rice or any kind of meat, chicken or meat, lamb, anything you want. And you cook the meat and the chicken, and you take the stock of the meat and cook the rice inside the stock.
Oh, cool.
So this is we have also special spices. We put it in the meat, and all this added very rich and very tangy taste in the rice. And in the end, when we finish, we put a generous amount of ghee. You know, the ghee is
it's like butter, right?
like butter, but it's like, do you know brown butter?
Yes.
It's like brown butter, but we add some spices, special spices that give it a yellow color and very strong taste. So we add this, and especially they cook it in Palestine in clay oven. So not like our now, yeah, it's a clay oven, and give you the smoky taste, and it's very, very nice.
Wow. Have you made it a lot?
I made it, yeah, at home, yeah, a lot for my kids. They love it a lot, yeah. And if we have gathering, my friend coming to me, because I want to show also, I'm from Hebron. I want to show them my special dish from Hebron. It's Qidra, yeah.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
And it's so nice of you to share the recipes. I feel like sometimes chefs or bakers are like, oh no, I don't want to share my recipes.
No, this is not me, yeah. Because especially in those days, you cannot say that, no, I cannot say, anyone can go and search, and ChatGPT, you know, ChatGPT, it give you a very nice recipe. So those days doesn't have secret in this world, yeah.
Is there a tip or trick that you think is really helpful when cooking? Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it. The dish that they're
Qidra? Yeah, Qidra, yeah, okay.
When cooking Qidra, is there like a special tip or trick that makes it easier or tastes better that you found?
Yeah, it's just cook the meat very well. So the meat, when you cook it very well, give you all the rich and the fat inside the meat, and keep it cook slowly. Or sometimes some people cook in pressure cook, or in very, very slow cook, yeah. So that give you the richness of the meat and rich stock, and both the right spices. So because we have some specific spices, you have to put it exactly as it's.
But I assume those spices you could probably find in like the international food
section, yeah. Now everywhere, yeah. And we have a lot of Arabic grocery also here, yeah.
What advice would you give to people who might be nervous if they are cooking for the first time?
My advice to be organized, especially when you first time. So you should know your recipe, organize your recipe. So that's make your work very easy. So for me as a chef, and also as a mom, and who just I look in pantry and I add my spices, and without measuring and without but for the who is start cook new in this field, so just organize your ingredients, start step by step. That give you more confidence, more. And first time cook for yourself, not for yeah. Try in yourself, then you grow a little bit. Yeah.
That's good advice, I think. You also mentioned earlier on that you're opening a cafe, I believe.
Yeah. I hope soon. Yeah, it's in week.
That's
So next week,
exciting.
maybe it's the soft opening.
Okay.
So I will make me and my friend. So I'm co-owner. So we will make like a coffee shop, cozy coffee shop, Palestinian culture. We will also same my idea. We will preserve our culture for the generation to show all people around the world about the nice of cuisine of Palestine. And not also I have inside the coffee shop like gift store. So all this is like Palestinian embroidery, Palestinian accessories, yeah, all this stuff. So it will be combined gift store with coffee shop. Yeah, we will make also like activity and workshop. Yeah, so just be tuned and
Yeah.
follow us, and you will see a lot of. And we will so happy to have you also.
Oh yes, yeah, that'd be
sure,
awesome. What is your cafe going to be called?
Made in Palestine. It will be made in
cute.
Palestine culture and culture coffee. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so exciting.
Yeah.
And then last question for right now. What would you say, it doesn't have to be specific to cooking or anything, but what would you say is the best piece of advice you've received throughout your life?
For my life, it's be yourself. You know, when you be yourself, you don't have to think about what's happening around you, especially those days in social media. And all this generation just looking for this one and this one. I want to be like this one. I want to be, just be yourself. Work in yourself to be yourself. That's it. Yeah.
That's great advice. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for
You're
talking
welcome.
with me.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, so we just finished up at Community Cooks with the New Grocery Movement, and oh my gosh, it smelled delicious. We left before the fun part. Just kidding, it's all fun. We left before eating, but I literally had so much fun.
Hey, it's the Bird Bound Besties here.
Do you want to be a guest on our show?
If you have a story that's worth sharing with the community, feel free to scan the QR code at the end of this video to be a guest on our show or one of the other amazing on-location shows that are available within Alberta and BC. So if you want to be a guest, scan the QR code.